Shenanigans.
All right, we're starting with Lizzie Enders today. Lizzie, you had an interesting topic where a sheriff's deputy OD'd on fentanyl. Tell us about it.
So this was a topic randomly, scouring the news over the week, and this was something that in my life was right on time because I had just had a conversation with a friend of mine who considers himself a recreational drug user, and they tend to lace some of their drugs with fentanyl. Okay. So I'm watching the news and I see this video of this cop in San Diego who was out on a call. So he and his partner were out on a call. They were investigating something, possible, drug paraphernalia, a lot of drugs in a certain location, whatever. They come across a car, and in the backseat of the car, there are a lot of drugs, fentanyl, I guess the powder form being one of them. And he got too close to the fentanyl. And I don't think a lot of people realize how potent these drugs are. He didn't inject it. He wasn't a drug user. He wasn't using it on his own. He simply came into contact with it as he was doing his job. And this is what happened. You have the video?
Yeah, it's a powder.
It could be cocaine or fentanyl. It tested positive for fentanyl. That stuff's no joke, dude. It's super dangerous.
I was like, hey, dude, too close. You can't get that close to it. A couple seconds later, he took some steps back and he collapsed. I ran over to him and I grabbed him and he was ODing. And I went to my trunk, I grabbed the Narcan, came down to him, grabbed him, and I did one nasal spray in one nostril, opened the other one, another nasal spray in the other one.
I remember just not feeling right, and then I fall back, and I don't remember anything after that.
Just breathe, buddy.
Trying to get him to focus on just breathing, and because that fentanyl, you can't breathe.
It was in an instant. It's as though my lungs just locked up. I couldn't breathe. I was trying to gasp for breath, but I couldn't breathe at all.
Bye-bye, you okay? Talk to me.
Sorry.
Oh, no. Don't be sorry. You're okay. Don't be sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about. I got you, okay?
So sad.
So,
That's so sad.
I have the same reaction, Gianni. When I saw this, it just was very jarring, kind of teared up because, this is a police officer who is out in the community trying to prevent other people from coming into contact with this particular drug. And he fell victim. And again, I don't think a lot of people really understand the potency here. And if not for the fact that his partner had, the Narcan is it Narcan or Zarcan?
I think it's
Narcan.
Narcan.
I think it's Narcan. If not for the fact that his partner, had the Narcan in his truck and immediately administered it to him, he would have died. He would have died right there on the spot. So I just, I wanted to bring this more, not necessarily as a topic that we need to analyze for 10 minutes, but more of an awareness type of topic, kind of like a PSA, but also to get the panel's reaction to this, because opioid abuse is very serious. Drug abuse, as we know, is still very serious. And I don't think people are really taking it, though, as seriously. So I appreciate even the San Diego Police Department for putting this video out there and letting people know that, it's not all fun and games with these highs that you're trying to get. You come into, you don't even have to ingest it the way you think you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And you can still be putting your life at risk. So what do you guys have to say about this?
Can I start?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
So, we're looking at think about all the stars that we've lost because of fentanyl.
My man.
Prince.
My man.
Michael Jackson. Oh, your man's Michael Jackson?
No, my man is Prince. Michael Jackson is a pedophile. I don't deal with pedophiles. The Prince,
Don't play Liz like that.
Yeah, I know she doesn't like Mike. We lost Michael Jackson. We've lost so many important. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think Michael Jackson was propanol, which kind of
Oh, you
has
might be right.
the,
You're right.
the same
Has,
effect.
yeah.
But in addition to Prince, Tom Petty,
Mm,
Tom Petty's drug overdose was fentanyl.
yeah. Yeah, and there's certainly an epidemic. I've been trying to figure out what is the high that great? I mean, I have no sense or idea, obviously, but I'm just out of curiosity. How wonderful is this high? Because I've seen people who've taken meth and people who've taken cocaine, and obviously the high is different for all of them.
Like it's
But
an addicting
yeah,
something
but
that
what is the high like for? Does anyone know what the
So,
high is like for fentanyl?
so Neo, people generally don't take fentanyl on its own. Fentanyl is something that finds itself, or that has now found itself into the world drug supply. It's in heroin, it's in morphine, it's in codeine, it's in cocaine, anything that's a white powder. Fentanyl is making its way into the supply. And what it
oh,
does
so it's like
is,
cut with that.
yeah, and
Or
it's
laced
much more
with it.
potent. So
Hmm.
so people who, if someone has a regular Coke habit and says, okay, well, this is how much a bump usually is for me. Well, if a quarter of it is fentanyl now, and you're used to this, and now it's going to take you to this level, or, fry your brain, then that's the
Wow.
associated risk. In Canada, we have fentanyl kits that are available where people can test their drugs to see if there's any
Mm.
fentanyl in them.
That's
And
so
we
weird.
also have access to naloxone kits. If you just Google naloxone kits Canada, you can find pharmacies or health centers in your area that have these naloxone kits available. And that's basically what the Narcan kit was. There's one that's injected, one that's inhaled through the nostrils. So in Canada, the fentanyl issue is so big that we have these kits readily available for people. And a very important thing that goes along with that, as part of the PSA, if someone overdoses in Canada, call 911, administer the naloxone if you have it, and know that the Good Samaritan Act, the Good Samaritan Drug Overdose Act, protects you from simple drug possession charges. So, providing that you're not a distributor, call 911 and know that you are being protected by the Good Samaritan Act because you're acting in the interest of preserving a human life.
Can I just
And that's what I
Thank
have to
you.
say.
Thank
I just
you.
want to
Wow.
say before we get to the rest of the comments, I just want to get to
That's what
we
I
have our resident doctor on, Dr. J. Robin Johnson. Um,
Hey, Robin.
so she was saying that a tiny amount absorbed through the skin can kill someone. She also
Hmm.
says she reminded us that propofol killed MJ as well. And she also says because of the opioid crisis, it is hard to have a good pain control for surgeries because the drugs are so controlled and hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I
Johnny,
would also want to add because Rob B gave a list of drugs that include fentanyl,
Mhm.
or that are being laced with fentanyl. Ecstasy pills are also at the top of that list.
Yeah.
And a lot of young people don't know that. They take ecstasy to get this euphoric high, but they don't know what's in that pill. It looks cute. A lot of ecstasy pills have happy faces on them, or clown faces or whatever, but they don't know the origins of that pill. And so a
Yeah.
Mm.
lot of young people are being affected by fentanyl overdoses, a lot of young people. And so again, my point in bringing this topic and showing this video, it really made me sad in the moment this week. It really made me sad,
Yeah.
for this officer
Yeah.
who, as his partner was saying, even as he was ODing, he was apologizing.
Yeah,
I'm
that was
sorry.
weird to
He
me.
I'm
was
sorry.
apologizing for, in his mind, being careless. And it's like, no, you were attempting to do the right thing and get this off the street.
Hmm. Yeah,
And hopefully this will be like a good lesson for other people. Like, be
Yeah.
careful out there. Be
definitely.
careful out there,
Yeah.
folks.
Johnny, your thoughts?
Um, just to follow what Liz was saying, that's the thing. Him apologizing, saying that he was sorry. He probably didn't even believe that it was that simple for him to
Mm-hmm.
get affected by
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And I know in the article it read that there were a lot of secondary exposures to even like toddlers and babies and stuff like that. That's so scary. I personally know somebody that actually died of purchasing I don't know what kind of pill. It could have been a Xanax. I don't know. but it was a drug, and it was laced with fentanyl, and they passed away. So
Oh.
yeah, it's real. It's seriously real. I wouldn't compare it. I've heard people compare it to the crack epidemic, but I would never compare it to that. But
Why?
yeah,
Why would you not
because
compare?
I think it was crack was something that was like cheaper, and then also it wasn't like we didn't have people like us that were vouching for the opposite. Like people didn't care. It was common, or it was
Also, I
accepted
think
rather. I
also
could be
I
wrong.
think with crack, you kind of knew what you were getting with crack.
That's true.
Like crack is crack.
I'll give you that.
This is something that's being added to the drug that you think you're getting.
Right.
Yeah,
Unbeknownst to you.
yeah, true,
So it's laced with
Um,
true.
fentanyl.
exactly, and that's the scary part. Like a lot of people
Neat.
don't know. Most people aren't willingly going out and seeking
Buying
fentanyl.
it.
Do we know if
You
it's is
know,
Right.
fentanyl is more? I mean, is it more addictive or equally addictive to other drugs?
I would say more potent. I don't know about the addiction
So it just
qualities,
Potent.
brings the
Mhm.
high
but
higher.
the potency
Yeah.
is just ridiculous.
Hmm.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
I'm glad
So
Robin Johnson chimes in on that one.
um I just want people to be safe. Like I'm not advocating for drugs. But if you choose to indulge, just be safe with what you're using and putting into your body or what you're coming into contact with. It's the same like if you think about
Yeah.
a meth lab, right? A lot of times when a police department they go into a meth lab, they have full
Careful.
gear on because they
Yeah.
cannot ingest those fumes. Those fumes get into their pores, it gets into their lungs. Like it's very potent. And it's the same with fentanyl. So be
Yeah.
careful, people. Just please be careful. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for that
So
PSA.
Dr. J did chime in to say that fentanyl is 20 times more potent than morphine.
Wow.
20
So
Gee.
times.
that's
Wow.
why that shit
And
kills.
morphine is exceptionally
Wow.
potent.
Yeah.
I've had
Oh my
morphine.
gosh.
I've had morphine when I had surgery. I had morphine, so I could not even imagine.
I told
20
you guys
times?
I told you guys I had that pulmonary embolism. They gave me morphine. I was in so much pain. They gave me morphine, and I was so out of it. I
Wow.
was just like, it was total la la land. I was in la la land for.
I won't even take Percocet because
Yeah, I don't
of
take
its
Percocet either.
potency.
I won't do it either.
Um,
Hmm.
because when I had my surgery, I had morphine in the hospital, but they regulate that.
Hmm.
But then when you leave the hospital, they they prescribe you um,
Opioids.
Tylenol and or Percocet. And the
Hmm.
first time I took the Percocet, I was just like, okay, all it's doing is knocking me out.
Yep.
I was out for like 6 hours. That's
Hmm.
not what I wanted. So I threw that shit in the
I'm
trash.
with you.
So
Yeah.
it's 20 times
Pain
more
relief.
potent. That's crazy.
That
That is crazy to me. Crazy.
that is crazy.
I can imagine.
Let's get to these comments online. So Dr. J says also, she says the crack epidemic was stigmatized to black and brown, and treatment was to arrest. Opioid has a different face, and now they want treatment.
Well,
That's
then
so
there's
true
that.
too.
Then there's that. Then
That is
there's
so
Then
that.
true.
there's that.
I mean, I am always surprised at how much we're finally talking about, as it always should have been, you know, that this was more of a medical issue than a, a
Street
yeah,
or
you know, something that you would arrest for. And now all of a sudden, because it does have a different face, as she says, it's
Mhm.
just yeah.
yeah, that's
Anyway,
a good point.
potency. So Mike Winter says potency makes you want to chase the dragon, especially if the crash is harder,
Chase the dragon.
therefore possibly more addictive.
Oh my god.
Jose says, let's see, she says fentanyl, so many losses because of that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great awareness, Lizzie Enders from Jose. Great topic.
It made me
So
sad.
Yeah.
It
Thank
made
you,
me
what are we
Liz.
sad.
calling
It
this? Are
really
we
made me
calling
sad.
this truth, lies,
Truth.
or shenanigans? Oh, everybody's going some truth. All right, let's get to the next one.
Truth.